The message came on a Tuesday. Dr. Jun Kim was drinking his third cup of coffee when every screen at the Global Space Communications Center lit up with strange symbols. His coffee mug crashed to the floor as he jumped from his chair. "What is that?" asked his assistant. Jun didn't answer. His eyes were fixed on the dancing patterns that filled the screens. Unlike anything he had ever seen, they pulsed with a strange rhythm, almost like they were alive. "Record everything," he ordered, "and call the director." Within hours, the center hummed with activity. Scientists from every department crowded around Jun as he worked. The strange message had been received by every major radio telescope on Earth at exactly the same time. "It's not random," Jun said, pointing to repeating patterns in the data. "This is language. Someone is talking to us." Director Kang shook his head. "You're saying it's aliens. Real aliens?" "Yes," Jun replied simply. "And they know we're here." 3 days later, Jun had barely slept. His office walls were covered with printouts of the message. Patterns were starting to emerge. The aliens had included a key, basic math, physics constants, and simple images that helped him build a translation framework. When Colonel Hannah Park from the International Defense Force arrived, Jun was muttering to himself as he wrote equations on a whiteboard. "Dr. Kim," she said, standing in the doorway. "I'm here about the message." Jun turned around. Hannah's uniform was crisp, her posture perfect. Her eyes moved quickly around the room, taking in the chaos of his work. "I've just started to understand it," he said. "And?" Hannah asked. "What does it say?" Jun pointed to his computer screen. "They call themselves the Koran Empire. They control thousands of star systems, and they found us." Hannah stepped closer to the screen. "Are they friendly?" Jun's face darkened. "No, they're not." The emergency United Nations meeting was the largest in history. Every nation had sent representatives. The room buzzed with nervous energy as Jun and Hannah entered. The Secretary General nodded to them. "Dr. Kim, please tell the world what we're facing." Jun stepped up to the podium. The room fell silent. "The message from space comes from an advanced civilization called the Koran Empire," he began. "They've been watching us for some time. Their message is a demand." Murmurs filled the room. Jun raised his hand for quiet. "They demand Earth's surrender and integration into their empire. They say it's inevitable. They say resistance is." He paused. Unwise. Chaos erupted. Delegates shouted questions. Security guards moved closer to the stage. The Secretary General banged his gavel. "Order. Please, let Dr. Kim finish." When the room quieted, Jun continued, "The Empire will send representatives to assess us. This is not a request. They are already on their way." Colonel Hannah stepped forward. "We need to prepare. We don't know their capabilities or intentions beyond what they've told us." "How long do we have?" asked the American delegate. 8 days, Jun answered. "Their ship will reach Earth in 8 days." Back at the center, Jun and Hannah worked through the night. The more Jun translated, the more worried he became. "They've done this before," he told Hannah as they studied the message. "The Empire has absorbed thousands of other species into their civilization." Hannah studied a star map they had decoded. "Do they always come in peace?" "No," Jun said. "Those who resist disappear." Hannah looked out the window at the night sky. "Then we need to find a way to survive this." Jun nodded. "There's something strange in their language. They think differently than us. Their words for individual and group are almost the same." "What does that mean?" Hannah asked. "I don't know yet," Jun admitted, "but it might be important." As dawn broke, they watched a new signal appear on the monitoring equipment. The Imperial ship had accelerated. It would arrive sooner than expected. Earth had only 5 days to prepare for first contact with the Koran Empire. The Imperial ship arrived without warning. One moment the sky was clear, and the next, a massive vessel hung over New York City. It was shaped like a perfect sphere, black as night, and so large it cast a shadow over half the city. No sound, no flash of light. It simply appeared. In the United Nations building below, world leaders watched in silence. "They're early," Jun said, his voice barely a whisper. Hannah checked her tablet. "Defense systems around the world are ready," but she didn't finish. They all knew Earth's weapons would be useless against a civilization that could travel between stars. A beam of light shot down from the ship, touching the ground in the middle of Central Park. When it vanished, 3 figures stood there. "They're here," the Secretary General said. "Let's go meet them." The aliens called themselves the Koran. They looked almost human, except for their golden skin and eyes that were completely black. The leader wore a silver uniform with strange markings. "I am Ambassador Tay," he said in perfect English. "I speak for the Empire." June stepped forward with the greeting they had prepared, but Ambassador Tay raised his hand. "We already know your language, all your languages. We have been studying you." The Secretary General stepped forward. "We welcome you to Earth. We hope for peaceful." "Peace is simple," Tay interrupted. "Join the Empire. That is peace." Colonel Hannah watched the aliens carefully. The 2 behind Tay never spoke or moved. Their faces showed no emotion. Were they guards? Or something else? "We would like to learn more about the Empire before making such a decision," the Secretary General said carefully. Tay smiled, but the smile didn't reach his eyes. "Of course, that is why we are here. To assess your world." For the next 3 days, Ambassador Tay and his silent companions visited cities around the world. Hannah was assigned to follow them. She watched as they studied factories, schools, hospitals, and farms. "Your people are interesting," Tay told her as they walked through a busy market in Tokyo. "So many different types, so much noise. We call it diversity," Hannah replied. "Every human is unique." Tay looked puzzled. "Unique? What purpose does that serve?" Before Hannah could answer, Tay's attention shifted to a group of children playing in a park. "They compete with each other," he observed. "Even in play." "Yes," Hannah said. "Competition drives us to improve." Tay made a note on a device on his wrist. "Unusual." At the center, Jun worked day and night studying everything they knew about the Koran. He found patterns in their language, their technology, and their behavior. When Hannah visited, she found him surrounded by screens filled with data. "They're not what they seem," Jun said without looking up. "The Empire has absorbed thousands of species, but they've never met anything like us." "What makes us different?" Hannah asked. Jun finally looked at her. "They don't understand individuals. Their entire society is built on sameness. One purpose, one mind, one way." "Like a hive," Hannah suggested. "Exactly," Jun nodded. "And they find our individuality disturbing." Hannah sat down. "Ambassador Taz seems confused by our differences. He asked why we allow so many languages, so many religions, so many forms of government." "What did you tell him?" "I said it's who we are." I don't think he understood. June pulled up an image of the Imperial ship. "We need to learn more about them, I think." His words were cut off by an alarm. On every screen, a message flashed. "Emergency meeting." The world leaders gathered again at the UN. Ambassador Ta stood before them, his face serious. "Our assessment is complete," he announced. "Earth is problematic. Your development is chaotic. Your societies are inefficient. Your thinking is—" He paused, searching for the word. "Fragmented." The room was silent. "However," Ta continued, "the Empire sees potential in your world. We offer you a choice." June leaned forward. This wasn't in the message they had decoded. "What choice?" the Secretary General asked. Ta's black eyes swept across the room. "Prove your worth. Complete 3 challenges set by the Empire. Succeed, and you may join us as equals. Fail." His voice hardened, and Earth will be reorganized under direct Imperial control. And if we refuse your challenges, someone asked. Ta looked surprised. There is no refusal in the Empire. Above the city, the massive black ship began to glow. The Imperial ship projected a giant screen above New York City. Every person on Earth could see it in the sky, no matter where they were. Ambassador Tay's face looked down at humanity. The first challenge, he announced, his voice echoing around the world. Create an artificial intelligence that can predict chaotic systems with perfect accuracy. You have 15 days. Then the screen vanished. In the emergency meeting room, world leaders argued loudly. It's impossible, shouted the Russian president. Even our best computers can't predict weather perfectly. How can we predict chaos? That's the point, said the Chinese premier. They've given us a task we cannot complete. Hannah leaned toward June. Is this how they conquer worlds? With impossible tests. Before June could answer, the Secretary General called for quiet. Dr. Kim, what have you learned about these challenges? June stood up. The Empire's messages mentioned challenges 17 times. It seems to be an important cultural practice for them. But, he paused, checking his notes. There's something else. They are bound by their own rules. If we succeed, they must honor their promise. But we can't succeed, someone said. The challenge is impossible. Hannah suddenly stood up. Maybe we're thinking about this wrong. June, is there anything in their language about how challenges must be met? June's eyes widened. No, there's nothing that says how we must solve it. Only that we must solve it. Hope sparked in the room. Later that night, Hannah found June in his office. I need you to help me find someone, she said. A scientist named So-Min Lee. June looked up from his computer. The quantum computing expert. She disappeared years ago. She didn't disappear, Hannah said. She went into hiding. The military knows where she is. We need her now. 3 days later, they sat in a small cabin deep in a forest. So-Min Lee was younger than June expected, maybe 35. Her hair was cut short, and her eyes were sharp and calculating. An AI that predicts chaos perfectly. So-Min laughed after they explained the challenge. That's not just difficult, it's against the laws of physics. Quantum uncertainty makes perfect prediction impossible. So we've lost before we've begun, Hannah said bitterly. I didn't say that. So-Min smiled. I said perfect prediction is impossible. But who defines perfect? June leaned forward. What do you mean? The Empire thinks in absolutes, So-Min explained. But quantum physics teaches us that uncertainty is fundamental to reality. What if our eye embraces uncertainty instead of trying to eliminate it? Hope flickered in June's chest. Can you build something like that? Not alone, So-Min said. I'll need a team. And access to the most powerful quantum computers on Earth. Hannah nodded. You'll have everything you need. While So-Min worked, June continued studying the imperial language and culture. One night, he made an important discovery. Hannah, he called. Look at this. On his screen was a detailed analysis of the Empire's communications. Their technology has barely advanced in 300 years, he explained. They've stopped innovating. Everything they do follows patterns established long ago. Why? Hannah asked. Think about it. If everyone thinks the same way, where do new ideas come from? Their greatest strength, their unity, is also their greatest weakness. Hannah's eyes lit up with understanding. And our greatest strength is our diversity, June finished. Our chaos. High above Earth, in the Imperial ship, Ambassador Todd watched the humans with growing concern. His report to Supreme Commander Dai was met with dismissal. They are primitives, the commander said. Their response is irrelevant. Soon, they will join the Empire. But Supreme Commander Tai argued, they are different. Their approach to problems is unpredictable. All species say that before integration, the commander replied. Prepare for their failure. On the 10th day, So-Min emerged from her lab. She looked exhausted but triumphant. "It's ready," she told June and Hannah. "We don't predict chaos. We map the patterns of unpredictability itself." "Will it work?" Hannah asked. So-Min smiled. "By their definition or ours, it doesn't matter. They gave us an impossible task with no rules about how to solve it." "So we changed the rules," June said with growing excitement. "Exactly," So-Min nodded. "Earth's first answer to the Empire is ready." The world changed in the 2 weeks after the challenge was announced. Old enemies became partners. Secrets were shared. Resources were pooled. For the first time in history, all of humanity worked toward a single goal. June watched in amazement as scientists from different countries worked side by side in the massive facility built for So-Min. Some had been rivals for decades. Now they shared ideas freely, building on each other's work. "I've never seen anything like this," he told Hannah as they watched the teams work. "Threats have a way of bringing people together," she replied. "But you're right. This is special." So-Min stood in the center of it all, directing teams, solving problems, pushing everyone forward. She rarely slept. When she did, it was on a cot in the corner of the lab. In orbit around Earth, the Imperial ship monitored everything. Ambassador Tai received regular reports on human activities. The sudden cooperation between nations caught his attention. "They are sharing resources and knowledge," he reported to Supreme Commander Da. "All their nations work as one." "Interesting," the commander replied. "Perhaps they are more advanced than we thought. But it won't matter. The challenge cannot be met." "Yes, Supreme Commander." Tai's voice betrayed no emotion, but his thoughts were troubled. The humans were not behaving as expected. On the 12th day, June brought news to the lab. "The Empire is watching us," he announced. "They seem surprised by our cooperation." So-Min barely looked up from her work. "Good. Let them be surprised." "How close are we?" Hannah asked. So-Min gestured to the massive quantum computer that filled half the room. Lights blinked across its surface as it processed data. "We've created something new," she explained. "It doesn't try to predict the exact future state of a chaotic system. That's impossible. Instead, it predicts the range of possible futures and assigns probabilities." "Will that satisfy their challenge?" June asked. So-Min smiled. "Their challenge asked for perfect prediction of chaotic systems. Our system is perfect at predicting the patterns of chaos itself." "You found a loophole," Hannah said with admiration. "No," So-Min corrected her. "I found a better answer." 3 days before the deadline, they tested the system on Earth's most chaotic system, the weather. Scientists watched in awe as the quantum AI mapped not one future, but millions of possible futures, showing how they branched and flowed from the present moment. It couldn't say for certain if it would rain in Tokyo tomorrow, but it could show all possible weather patterns and their likelihood with incredible detail. "It's beautiful," June whispered as he watched the patterns shift on the giant display screen. "It's ready," So-Min announced. Hannah arranged the presentation to the Empire. The world's leaders gathered in New York again. This time, they were not afraid. They were confident. Ambassador Tai arrived with his silent companions. His black eyes revealed nothing as So-Min explained their solution. "Your challenge asked for perfect prediction of chaos," she concluded. "Our system doesn't eliminate chaos. It embraces it. It maps the patterns of unpredictability with perfect accuracy." To demonstrate, she showed how the system predicted the behavior of a complex weather system, a stock market, and the spreading patterns of a forest fire. Each time, it didn't show one future, but all possible futures, with their probabilities perfectly mapped. Tai studied the results in silence. Finally, he spoke. "This is unexpected." For the first time, he seemed unsure. "I must consult with the Supreme Commander." He left the room quickly, his companions following. "Did we do it?" the Secretary General asked. "I don't know," Jun replied honestly. Their minds work differently than ours. They may not accept our approach. They have to, Hannah said firmly. Their challenge didn't specify how we had to solve it, only that we had to. Hours passed. The Imperial ship glowed brighter in the sky. Then, Ambassador Tai returned. His face was grim. Your solution is, he paused, searching for the right word, acceptable. A cheer erupted in the room. However, Ta continued when the noise died down. The second challenge will not be so easily overcome. The giant screen appeared in the sky again. This time, it wasn't Ambassador Ta but Supreme Commander Dai who addressed Earth. His face was stern, his black eyes cold. Humans, he said, his voice echoing around the world. Your solution to the first challenge was unusual. The Empire acknowledges your success. People across the planet cheered. In streets and homes, humans celebrated their first victory against the mighty Koran Empire. However, the commander continued, silencing the celebrations. The second challenge now begins. Create a sustainable energy source that produces absolutely no waste. You have 20 days. The screen vanished. In the United Nations building, world leaders were more confident now. We've beaten them once, said the Brazilian president. We can do it again. This challenge seems more straightforward, the Indian Prime Minister added. We already have clean energy technologies. Jun shook his head. Not like this. They mean absolutely no waste. No heat loss, no radiation, nothing. That breaks the laws of thermodynamics. Another impossible challenge, Hannah said. So Min, who had been invited to join the meeting, spoke up. Every challenge has an answer. We just need to think differently again. We need someone who understands energy systems, Jum suggested. Someone creative. Hannah's face lit up. I know exactly who we need. Dr. Jaiho Han worked in a university lab in Seoul. His research on bioenergy systems was considered radical by most scientists. When Hannah and Jun arrived, they found him tending to strange plants that glowed with a soft blue light. The Koran Empire, Jaiho said after they explained the situation. Fascinating, and they want perfect energy with no waste. Is it possible? Jun asked. Jaiho smiled. In a closed system, energy can't be created or destroyed, and entropy always increases. That's basic physics. Their hopes fell. But Jaiho continued, his eyes gleaming with excitement. What if the system isn't closed? While Jaiho worked with a growing team of scientists, Jun made a disturbing discovery. The Empire has positioned ships throughout our solar system, he told Hannah, showing her images from deep space telescopes. They're preparing for our failure. They're that confident we'll lose, Hannah asked. Or they're afraid we'll win, Jun suggested. Ambassador Ta seems increasingly concerned about our progress. Ambassador Ta walked through Jaiho's lab, watching humans work with a mixture of curiosity and concern. Unlike most labs, this one was filled with plants, animals, and complex biological systems alongside advanced technology. Your approach is strange, he told Jaiho. The Empire's energy systems are based on fusion technology. So are ours, Jaiho replied. But we're learning from life itself. Life has been converting energy for billions of years on Earth. Tai studied a container where tiny organisms consumed waste and produced energy. This is inefficient. Perhaps, Jaiho smiled. But life finds a way. After Tai left, Han approached Jaiho. Be careful what you tell him. He reports everything back to the Empire. Good, Jaiho said. Let them see. They won't understand until it's too late. 2 weeks later, Jaiho's team was ready. They had created something new, a hybrid system that combined technology with biological processes. It used engineered microorganisms that consumed energy in a perfect cycle, passing it from one form to another with no loss. It doesn't break the laws of physics, Jaiho explained to the world leaders. It works with them in a way the Empire hasn't considered. Their technology is all metal and radiation. Ours is living. Will it satisfy their challenge? The Secretary General asked. Yes, Jiho said confidently. By their own definition, there is no waste. The energy transforms but never leaves the system. The presentation day arrived. The Great Hall was filled with tension as Jiho demonstrated the bioenergy system to Ambassador Ta. The energy flows in a continuous cycle, Jiho explained. What would be waste in a traditional system becomes food for the next part of the cycle. Tay's face showed confusion. This is not technology. These are living things. Yes, Jiho agreed. That's our solution. Tay touched the container, feeling its warm pulse. This is not how the Empire solves problems. No, Jun said quietly. It's how Earth solves them. Tai was silent for a long time. Finally, he spoke. This solution is acceptable. The room erupted in cheers. For the first time, Ta looked truly troubled. Supreme Commander Dai will arrive personally to oversee the final challenge. What does that mean? Hannah asked Jun when the ambassador had gone. It means, Jun said gravely, we've scared them. The sky over Earth changed. More Imperial ships arrived daily, forming a ring around the planet. They hung silently in space, dark against the stars. They're surrounding us, Hannah said, looking at satellite images with Jun and the others. Why send so many ships if they're just here for a challenge? Because they never expected us to succeed, Jun replied. This was supposed to be an easy conquest. The Secretary General pointed to a larger ship approaching Earth. Is that Supreme Commander Dai's ship? Jun confirmed. It will reach Earth tomorrow. So Min, who had been quiet, finally spoke. We've changed their plans twice now. They don't like surprises. What will the third challenge be? Jiho asked. No one had an answer. That night, Jun was working late in his office when Ambassador Tai appeared at his door. For once, his silent companions were not with him. Dr. Kim, Ta said. May I speak with you? Jun nodded, surprised. Tai sat down. For a long moment, he said nothing. Then, your species confuses me. How so? Jun asked. You think differently. You find paths where we see none. It is not logical. Jun smiled slightly. We call it creativity. The Empire has conquered 1,000 worlds, Ta said. None have responded as you have. Is that why you're surrounding our planet with warships? Jun asked. Tay's black eyes widened slightly. You notice much. What happens if we solve all 3 challenges? Ta looked away. That has never happened before. The next morning, strange incidents were reported around the world. Power outages hit research facilities. Computer systems crashed. Critical data disappeared. At Jiho's lab, security guards caught a man trying to destroy equipment. He wasn't human. His skin had been made to look human, but underneath it was golden like Ta's. The Empire is sabotaging us, Hannah told the emergency meeting. They're afraid of the third challenge. Can they do that? The French president demanded. Doesn't this break their own rules? The rules say we must complete the challenges, Jun explained. They don't say the Empire can't make it harder. Then we'll work harder, So Min said firmly. And we'll be more careful. Supreme Commander Dai's arrival was a show of power. His ship, 3 times larger than any other Imperial vessel, positioned itself directly over New York City. A beam of light, brighter than before, delivered him to Earth. Dai was taller than Ta, his golden skin darker, his black eyes colder. He wore armor instead of a uniform, and a cape that seemed to absorb light. Earth, he addressed the world leaders. You have surprised the Empire. Twice. No one spoke. No species has ever passed 2 Imperial challenges before, Dai continued. Your methods are unconventional. Thank you, the Secretary General said cautiously. It was not a compliment, Dai replied. Unconventional thinking is dangerous. It leads to chaos. It leads to innovation, Jun countered. Day turned his cold gaze on Jun. Innovation without direction is destruction, Dr. Kim. Hannah noticed how Dai knew Jun's name without introduction. They had been watching closely. Later, Hannah found Todd waiting for her outside the United Nations building. "Colonel Park," he said quietly, "I must speak with you." She followed him to a quiet corner. "Supreme Commander Dai is not pleased," Ta said. "The third challenge will be different." "How?" Hannah asked. "It will be designed to prove humans are dangerous, to justify immediate control of your world." Hannah's heart raced. "You're warning me. Why?" Ta looked troubled. "Because in my time here, I have seen things that make me question. Your world has beauty in its chaos. Your people find strength in difference, not sameness." "What will the challenge be?" Hannah asked. "I do not know exactly, but it will involve weapons." Ta looked over his shoulder nervously. "I should not be telling you this." "Thank you," Hannah said sincerely. "Do not thank me," Ta replied. "I am still loyal to the Empire. But I begin to think the Empire may be wrong about Earth." As he walked away, Hannah realized something important had just happened. For the first time, an Imperial had questioned the Empire's judgment. She needed to tell the others right away. The final challenge was coming, and it would be a trap. The Great Hall fell silent as Supreme Commander Day announced the third challenge. "Create a weapon," he said, his voice cold and clear, "capable of destroying an Imperial dreadnought." Gasps filled the room. The challenge was unexpected and frightening. "You want us to build a weapon that could destroy your ships?" the Secretary General asked, confused. Day's black eyes revealed nothing. "If you wish to join the Empire as equals, you must demonstrate your ability to defend yourselves. All member species possess such weapons." When Dad left, chaos erupted in the meeting hall. "It's a trap," Hannah announced loudly. "Ambassador Ta warned me. If we build such a weapon, the Empire will use it as proof that humans are dangerous. But if we don't build it, we fail the challenge," the American president pointed out. "Either way, we lose," Jun said grimly. That night, Jun, Hannah, So Min, and Ji-ho met secretly. "We need a different approach," Jun said. "One they won't expect." "What kind of weapon could even damage their ships?" Ji-ho wondered. "Their technology is centuries ahead of ours." "Maybe we're thinking about this wrong," So Min suggested. "What if the weapon isn't physical?" Hannah looked at her. "What do you mean?" "The first two challenges, we didn't solve them the way the Empire expected. We found different paths," So Min explained. "Maybe the answer isn't to build a bigger gun." Jun suddenly sat up straight. "Their greatest weakness isn't their ships, it's their minds." "Explain," Hannah said. "They think as one. They follow patterns. They struggle with new ideas," Jun said excitedly. "What if our weapon attacks that?" While the world publicly began developing conventional weapons to satisfy the Empire, Jun's team worked on something very different. The Empire evolved from a hive species, Jun explained to the Secretary General in a secure room. "Their strength comes from unity of thought, but this makes them vulnerable to ideas that challenge their shared beliefs." "You want to use ideas as weapons?" the Secretary General asked skeptically. "Not just any ideas," Jun replied. "Human ideas, concepts like individual choice, personal freedom, creative thinking. These are alien to them and potentially devastating to their system." Ambassador Ta found Hannah in the garden outside the United Nations. "Supreme Commander Day grows impatient," he said quietly. "He does not believe humans can build such a weapon." "But if we did, he would use it against us," Hannah pointed out. Tai did not deny it. "The Empire fears what it cannot control." "And what do you fear, Ambassador?" Hannah asked. Ta looked at the flowers in the garden. "I have been studying your art, your music, your literature. So many different voices, so many different visions. The Empire has none of this. We have one voice, one vision. And which do you prefer? Hannah asked gently. Tai didn't answer, but his silence told her everything. On the 10th day, Tai made his decision. He met June and Hannah in secret. I will help you, he said, but you must understand, this is treason against the Empire. Why risk it? June asked. Because Earth deserves a chance, Tai replied, and because the Empire needs to change. He gave them access codes to the Imperial Communication Network, the system that connected all Imperial ships and personnel. Be careful, he warned. If Dai discovers what you are doing, he will destroy your world immediately. With 5 days remaining, Earth's plan was ready. It wasn't a conventional weapon, but something far more powerful. We call it the Freedom Virus, June explained to a small group of world leaders. Not a computer virus, but an idea virus. We'll broadcast human art, music, literature, philosophy, concepts of individual freedom and creative thinking, directly into the Imperial network. Will it work? The Secretary General asked. Their minds aren't prepared for these ideas, Jun said. They have no defenses against them. And Ambassador Ta? Someone asked. He's protected himself, Hannah assured them. He's already been exposed to human ideas. As they spoke, Supreme Commander Da's voice boomed across the world again. 3 days remain, Earth. Show us your weapon, or prepare for integration. Hannah looked at June. Are we ready? Yes, Jun replied. Let's give the Empire our answer. On the final day, Supreme Commander Dai and his guards stood in the Great Hall. The room was filled with world leaders, scientists, and military officers. A large covered object sat on a platform at the center. Show us your weapon, Dad demanded. The Secretary General stepped forward. Supreme Commander, we have created something in response to your challenge. But it may not be what you expect. Dai's face hardened. The challenge was clear. A weapon capable of destroying an Imperial dreadnought. And that is what we have built, Jun said, stepping forward, though not in the way you imagined. Dai looked at the covered object with suspicion. Reveal it. Hannah pulled away the cover. Underneath was not a massive weapon, but a simple transmitter connected to a small computer. Dai's black eyes narrowed. You mock the Empire. This cannot harm our ships. It is not meant to harm your ships, Jun explained. It targets something far more important. Before Dai could respond, Hannah activated the device. The screen lit up with images from Earth, children playing, artists creating, scientists debating, musicians performing. Alongside these images ran text in the Imperial language, words about freedom, choice, individuality, and creative thinking. What is this? Da demanded, his voice rising. Our weapon, Jun said calmly. Right now, it's broadcasting to every ship in your fleet, to every corner of your empire. Dai's face showed shock for the first time. Stop this immediately. Why? Hannah asked. Are ideas so dangerous to you? In the Imperial ships above Earth, something strange was happening. Crew members watched in fascination as human art, music, and ideas flooded their screens. Many had never seen anything like it before. A captain stared at a painting by a human child. Messy, imperfect, but full of life. In the Empire, art was precise, regulated, always the same. This was different, beautiful in its chaos. Another officer listened to human music, hearing how it broke rules, mixed styles, created something new. Her mind raced with possibilities she had never considered before. On Dai's flagship, the command center was in confusion. Officers argued with each other, something unheard of in the Empire. The humans must be stopped, one said. But why? Another countered. These ideas harm no one. They harm the Empire, the first insisted. Perhaps the Empire should change, a third suggested. The room fell silent. No one had ever said such a thing before. In the Great Hall, Dai was furious. You do not understand what you have done. These ideas will spread like a disease through our people. Yes, Joan agreed. And that is our weapon. Not bombs or lasers, but freedom of thought. Day turned to his guards. Destroy that device. Prepare the ships for attack. But his guards didn't move. They were watching the screen, their faces showing confusion and wonder. One guard removed his helmet. Supreme Commander, I have questions. Day stepped back in shock. This is treason. Is asking questions treason? The guard asked. The humans ask questions. They create new things. Why can't we? Above Earth, the Imperial fleet was breaking formation. Some ships moved away, refusing orders to prepare for attack. Communication channels filled with debate and discussion, sounds never before heard in the Empire. Tai entered the hall, his face calm. It has begun, Supreme Commander. The humans have won. You, Da pointed at Ta. You helped them do this. I did, Tai admitted, because I have seen what they offer. A better way. Better, Da shouted. The Empire has ruled for 10,000 years. We bring order to chaos. Yes, Jun said. But chaos is not always the enemy. From chaos comes creation, innovation, growth. Hannah stepped forward. Your challenge asked for a weapon that could destroy an Imperial dreadnought. We created one. But instead of destroying your ships, we freed the minds of those inside them. Day looked around the room, at his hesitating guards, at the screen showing his fleet in disarray. For the first time in his long life, Supreme Commander Day faced something he could not control. What have you done? He whispered. We answered your challenge, Jun replied. In our own way. 3 days passed. The Imperial fleet remained in Earth's orbit, but everything had changed. Ships no longer maintained perfect formation. Some had moved to explore Earth's moon or the nearby planets. Command channels, once filled with only necessary communication, now buzzed with questions, ideas, and even debates. Supreme Commander Day stood at the window of his quarters, watching Earth turn below. His normally rigid posture had softened. For the first time in his long life, he felt confusion. Commander, a voice said behind him. It was Ta. Ambassador, Day replied without turning. Or should I say traitor? I am still loyal to our people, Ta said, but perhaps not to our ways. Day finally turned to face him. Half the fleet no longer responds to commands. Crew members are asking questions, sharing ideas, creating art. He said the last word like it was painful. 3,000 years of perfect order, destroyed in 3 days. Not destroyed, Tai corrected. Changed. On Earth, Jun, Hana, So Min, and Ji-Ho watched the Imperial ships on large screens. It's working better than we expected, So Min said. The ideas are spreading from ship to ship. Can Dai still attack us? Hannah asked. Jun studied the data. I don't think so. Too many ships have broken formation. The chain of command is falling apart. What happens now? Ji-Ho wondered. That depends on Da, Jun replied, and on us. The Great Hall was filled again. Supreme Commander Da entered, but this time he came alone. His armor was gone, replaced by a simple uniform. His face showed fatigue. Humans, he said, his voice quieter than before. You have done something no species has ever done. You have changed the Empire. The Secretary General stepped forward. Was that not the challenge? To create a weapon powerful enough to affect an Imperial dreadnought. For the first time, Day's face showed a hint of a smile. Indeed. Though I did not expect the weapon to be ideas. What happens now? The Secretary General asked. Da looked around the room, at the faces watching him. The Empire cannot continue as it was. Already, our ships report changes across 100 worlds. Your ideas have spread too far to stop. And Earth? Hannah asked directly. Earth will not be forced to join the Empire, Da said. Instead, I propose something new. A galactic council where Earth and the Empire meet as equals. A murmur of surprise and hope spread through the hall. I have seen what happens when different minds work together, Da continued. Perhaps this is what the Empire has been missing all along. 1 month later, June, Hana, So-min, and Ji-ho stood on the loading platform of the first human ship, prepared to visit the Imperial homeworld. It was a diplomatic mission, the first of many planned exchanges. Nervous? Hana asked to June as they prepared to board. A little, he admitted, but mostly excited. Ambassador Tai approached them, no longer in his Imperial uniform, but in clothes that blended Imperial and Earth styles. Are you ready? He asked. The Council is eager to meet you. What will we do there? Ji-ho asked. Teach, Ta said simply. Share your ideas, your art, your science, and learn from us too. Together, we will create something new. And Supreme Commander Dai? June asked. Former Supreme Commander, Ta corrected. He now leads the Transition Council. He has many questions for you. So-min smiled. Questions are a good start. As they boarded the ship, Hana looked back at Earth one last time. The planet looked small and blue against the blackness of space, but she knew its impact would now spread across the galaxy. We did it, she said softly. Did what? June asked. We saved Earth without destroying the Empire. Instead, we changed it. As the ship lifted off, carrying humans to the stars for the first time, June thought about the challenge that had started everything. The Empire had demanded Earth's surrender, expecting an easy victory or a futile fight. They hadn't been ready for Earth's answer, not surrender, not war, but something entirely new, something human. In the vastness of space, a new chapter began, for Earth, for the Empire, and for the galaxy. Not as conqueror and conquered, but as partners with different strengths, different minds, and endless possibilities together. The greatest weapon, in the end, had been humanity itself. The end